The Women's Council has given me so much more than I could ever even explain. When I tell people to come to Ole Miss, the first thing that I tell them is to check the Women's Council box on their scholarship application, because the Women's Council has been my college experience. The Women's Council really has been a family away from home.
And Ole Miss Women's Council has just been home to me, just a constant in my college experience. It means so much to just have a place where you can go from freshman year to senior year where people just know you, and you just walk into the office and it's a familiar room and they offer you a Celsius or an energy drink, and you can unload and complain or and they celebrate your wins and everything. So I just think that it's been home. It's been like a family.
The words that come to my mind when I think of the Ole Miss Women's Council are family, support, friendship, mentorship, growth, leadership, and of course philanthropy. But it really has been just so many different things for me, and it's just like really providing me with a home away from home.
It honestly means everything to me. It was such a life-changing opportunity that was presented my way. I honestly probably never would have been able to afford college without the Women's Council, and so having that opportunity to not worry about debt or student loans after college has made the world of difference.
My experience with the Ole Miss Women's Council has been beyond amazing. I feel that I have grown a lot. I have learned so much. I have some amazing mentors, and I've made some lifelong friends.
I cannot say enough good things about my experience as an Ole Miss Women's Council scholar. I've gotten to do so many amazing things. I've gotten to go on trips. I got to study abroad in Italy. I got to meet Dolly Parton, but most importantly, I've made so many friendships with fellow scholars and council members and program directors.
I've seen lots of change in the program over the years that I've been here, but everything that's been implemented is for us. Like, they don't think about anything else except for us whenever they're making changes to the program, and they really make sure that the tools and the skills that are necessary to succeed in our professional and personal life are provided to us. And so it's been like they've been just a really integral part to my success in college.
I'm sure everyone has said this, but it truly means everything. It's all of these amazing women who have careers and philanthropic avenues all across the country, and it's like the best sorority or fraternity ever. It's like I got a gift that is irreplaceable, and it's just the best thing ever.
I would not have been here without Ole Miss Women's Council. I love Ole Miss Women's Council.
My Women's Council experience has been great. It's probably been the highlight of my college career. Honestly, it's just given so much to me, and I feel like I've really found a community within the scholarship program.
Everybody in the Women's Council, all the scholars have something to offer. While we might not all be in the same social circles, everybody has niche interests, and everyone has something that you can learn from.
My Women's Council experience has been what I would describe as what I had no idea I needed at 18 years old. And I just immediately go to the first fall retreat, and that was before I even started classes freshman year. But I immediately walked in, and ironically not knowing anyone who really didn't know anything about me either, they immediately felt like a family.
Personally, I would say that I have gained a lot of leadership skills, communication, number one. I feel more confident in talking to people that I've never met before, and I've also just become a well-rounded individual.
I've had a lot of just really meaningful experiences, but also relationships as a result of the Women's Council. I think from mentors to the amazing councilwomen, but also my fellow scholars, I've just been really, it's been a beneficial experience, and I've been truly and incredibly impacted by all of them. I think for my scholars, they all bring their own unique backgrounds, but also interests. The councilwomen are amazing, so caring, so loving, but also from the programming to the interesting trips that we get. I mean, I think we're just so blessed and fortunate to be able to have almost a microcosm of what the Ole Miss experience should be, which is just home away from home.
You know, I thought I knew what giving was before being a part of the Women's Council, but they've just shown me really what it is to give of yourself and your time and your energy to make the world a better place.
The women on Women's Council have had the greatest impact on me. And just being able to meet so many different kinds of women, they're all incredible and just so talented and driven and successful and really care about things.
So the part of the Women's Council that has had the greatest impact on me is, I think, the dedication that everyone shows towards me and the fact that they're so invested in my success and career and do everything to go out of their way to help me. I think that's what has had the greatest impact.
Now I truly see what it means to be a part of the Ole Miss Women's Council. Like the importance of philanthropy, the importance of giving back, the importance of, just, putting yourself out there, what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a professional in a professional setting.
The mentorship aspect had such a huge impact on me. I learned so much from my mentors, whether it was about my career or whether it was about life in general. And the conversations that we had over lunch and over coffee, or even just the uplifting text messages that they would send me, had such a big impact on me and got me through some of the most stressful weeks.
The mentorship aspect of it has been the most rewarding experience for me. And not only having a good relationship with my mentors, but just being around them and the other members of the Women's Council, the advisors, and my fellow scholars. They've just enriched me so much and poured into me, even if they didn't know it over the past 4 years. And it's just grown me into who I am and where I'm going.
Listening to all of the amazing people, all of their accomplishments, it's hard to believe that I even get to be in the room with a lot of the people we're in the room with, because you hear all of the great things that they created in the foundations and their careers and their jobs, and to know that that they're standing in front of you and they're regular people just like you are. It's really just an inspiration. So every time I leave a Women's Council event, I'm like, I'm good. I can do whatever I want to do.
There's been a lot of master classes that I've attended that has helped me learn so much while here, including outside of my studies. A lot of time management growth. I was a huge procrastinator when I came, and now I have to plan everything ahead. We've had financial advisors come and teach us about finances, which is very useful and helpful now that I have a big girl job and will need to know how to manage my money. Also, just being around other perspectives and learning about different cultures, different way of life, and other people's way of giving back.
We give those donor thank you notes, and we also, after any kind of event, or if we have a speaker, we're asked to give a thank you note. The Women's Council showed me how this small gesture can speak volumes about somebody's character, and so I've integrated that into my co-ops that I've had with Toyota. So after every co-op that I have, or as I'm completing my co-op, I actually give everybody a thank you note, and seeing the surprise or the joy on somebody's face whenever you give them a thank you note just really helps me understand the meaning of what they're giving us tool for.
It's just been truly incredible to get to know and build these relationships in this small and unique but intimate group of student leaders, but also scholars. Just bright.
I would say the greatest impact within the program has been the interactions I have with the scholars. Besides my mentors, I also really have gotten to grow and love the scholars so much. They encourage me and inspire me in all that they do across campus and in the world, and I can't wait to see where they end up, and I can't wait to stay connected.
I'm going to miss it here a lot. I am going to miss the Women's Council so much, and gosh, it's so hard to say goodbye, but I'm just happy that I got to experience this. I don't know why they picked me, but I'm so happy that they picked me.
Ole Miss to me kind of means like a new beginning. When I came here, I kind of saw it as a turning point to a kind of changing up my life and being the person that I kind of always wanted to be, and getting out of that funk that I got from high school and just growing and being the person that I want to be in the rest of my life.
Ole Miss to me, in a sense, means opportunity. I think so many people are able to come here and really find themselves, and I think a big part of that is I credit that to the Women's Council. Just being able to come here as a bright-eyed freshman, I've really been able to find myself, but also find my passions and my purpose. I want to give back to this university that's given so much to me.
Ole Miss has meant growth to me. To think about where I started, who I was when I was 18 and who I am now at 22. Ole Miss has played such a big role in steering me in the right direction, so that I've been able to encounter all of life's challenges and all of college's challenges and have a resource everywhere I turn. So Ole Miss has meant growth and support and home.
Ole Miss is family, home away from home. I have truly blossomed since I've been here. I think Ole Miss signifies growth within myself, and just a better person overall.
To me, Ole Miss means so much. It means empowerment, it means family, it means friends. It's truly unlike any college experience, I think, in the world for so many different reasons, but it's just an amazing place, and it's a very special place, and I think everyone here knows that. But yeah, it's a college like no other.
Ole Miss has been such a great experience for me. It is totally different than where I'm from, so I just feel like I've been exposed to so many different types of people and had to push myself outside my little bubble. Even though Oxford still is a bubble, it is much bigger than my home bubble, and I feel like I've met so many different amazing people. And for me, the best part about Ole Miss is the people, because really it's the people that make the place, and I feel like Ole Miss just has the best people.
Had the opportunity to travel to Florence, Italy with fellow scholar Shelby Sledge.
We got to take a class on food and wine and culture, which was amazing because we got to kind of learn about it in our class and then experience it firsthand. So the GLC gave me the opportunity to go to Ireland.
I was able to go to Florence, Italy and study at Florence University of the Arts with fellow scholar Mary Patton Murphy.
Last fall, I was able to spend a semester-long abroad, about 4 months, in Taipei, Taiwan.
For my GLC experience, I studied abroad in London, England last summer, and it was such an amazing experience. I studied London and walking history, so we walked around the city of London and studied the history and went to monuments and studied the specific things that happened there.
Just being able to immerse myself in the culture, from the delicious delicacies to getting to speak every day, practice my Chinese in a real world setting.
I had the opportunity to have an internship with PwC in Nashville, Tennessee. During this time, I was able to live with Karen Moore, so that was a really exciting time. And I was also able to receive funds from the GLC, and this really helped me grow as a person, just, move into a new city. I've never been away from home before.
I learned a lot about how to communicate with people and how to better relate to people who are different than me. So while Italy is European, a lot of the people's mindset there is just not the same as ours.
Much more empathetic person and much more aware of other people's cultures and how people interact.
The scholarship is an important component because we get to learn so much here on campus, but we're kind of in a small bubble, and I think it's just amazing for us to get to go out and experience things and get out of our comfort zone, because I know that that's something that I would not have been able to do without the GLC scholarship.
It was really life-changing. I feel like it pushed me outside my comfort zone and made me think differently and just helped me to become a more well-rounded person.
The biggest thing that I learned was just the importance of quality over quantity. The Italians love that and care a lot about that, and I've definitely seen how the Women's Council appreciates that too.
My favorite part is office hours, just like going in, chilling, having a drink and a snack while in the middle of the day I'm just kind of waiting for my next class, and getting to hang out with the people in the office and just like have fun, watch people play games, watch little arguments or debates, I guess.
Being able to just take a break from my day and go in and talk to Atkins or Allison, and like they are fully aware the whole time that you're there, and so like they're really into the conversation that you're in with them, and it's just meaningful, because if I need to go and vent about me making a B on a heat transfer test or something, then I can go in there and they're like I get it, I am here for you, I'm here to support however I can, and just being able to pop open a Sprite.
Atkins and Allison have been great. They've been such a good addition to the program and have just been very supportive and very open and very just nice and ask really good questions. And last week I just sobbed in Allison's office, and it was just comforting, honestly. It was so nice. And I think a lot of other people do it too. So they're just like a very, they have a very warming presence.
I remember freshman year, we had just moved to the office in Minor. I was so nervous to meet all of the older Women's Council students, and they immediately just embraced me and the rest of the freshman class. And that's something I really vividly remember from freshman year, was the time that the older students took to pour into us. It was a great way to start my time at Women's Council, just because I was so nervous about all the women at first, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I really looked up to the older students, and they were able to encourage me and the other freshmen to make relationships with the council members, and I found that to be so beneficial because they're just incredible women.
My favorite Ole Miss Women's Council memory would be the incredible legacy event last year, the incredible Dolly Parton. Just being able to be in that room with the many just different faces, but also, a superstar in Dolly, and being able to see the half schools and how they've worked with her and their close relationship, but also just being able to hear her sing. I mean, man, can she sing? Just a truly incredible experience, and I know, how many people would have loved to have a seat at the Jefferson.
Favorite Women's Council memory would have to be either meeting Dolly Parton as our last legacy member, or one of our retreats. We were at the house of Councilwoman Mary Haskell, and we were having we have little boats in her pond. We're doing a little relay race. We were winning. However, I fell out the boat trying to get out for the second half of the relay to get in, and it was just terrible. I was soaking wet, and it was a lot of fun, and our team did lose.
The most fun thing ever was the Ole Miss Women's Council Olympics. That was such a good time. We just got together, and I got to see everybody's competitive side, and we got to be goofy and let loose, and some of the council members were there, and they just were cheering us on the whole time, and it was just a really good time. I have never had more fun in my life, so it was so fun.
Favorite Ole Miss Women's Council memory is honestly the Red Plate Suppers. I love them. It's like a little get together every month. It's like book club, and you go, and I get to see my friends who I don't get to see really other than the Red Plate Suppers, and we go and we hear speakers and we eat a lovely, delicious meal, and it's awesome.
It was a Red Plate Supper, and it was at Betsy Smith's house, and our council member Rose spoke to us, and just her message was great. It was iconic, honestly. I remember walking out of there being like, wow, I'm a better person for hearing that.
My favorite Ole Miss Women's Council memory would have to be the Christmas parties at Mary Haskell's house.
Especially at first, before we were used to them, I would always ride with Mary Patton, and it was probably the Christmas party freshman year. We left and we got back in the car and we looked at each other and we both had tears in our eyes because we were like, what did we do to deserve this? Because it was just wonderful and so much fun, and just the ladies are so gracious to open their homes to us.
I really enjoyed the Nashville trip. I took that my sophomore year. It was all the scholars that 1 through 10, and it was truly just a great experience. I not only had such a good time, but I also saw some really cool things that I maybe wouldn't have gone to out on my own, which was awesome. We went to a really cool art museum that I will remember, and we also went to this really cool bowling alley. It was just really the time to get to know the scholars, and it really helped us to bond together, especially coming out of COVID. So it was really great to be able to do that.
But then I think one of my fondest memories is once we got time to kind of break off and go on our own, a group of us were running back in the rain, and that was just an unforgettable experience.
I think it's easy to jump to, oh, I got to study abroad, or oh, I got to go to Nashville for a few days with my scholars. But I think what's really had the greatest impact on me in the Women's Council is the day-to-day interactions with everyone, or the texts and encouragement from my mentor or my peers. It really has just been a community that I couldn't have dreamt up. But there are so many stories I could share about how these women have reached out and loved me and shown me so much grace and encouragement.
My favorite Women's Council memory would have to be my first fall retreat as a freshman scholar. Not knowing anybody, but when I got there, it immediately felt like a backbone of support and a family I would have at Ole Miss and afterwards. But I distinctly remember Liz Randall speaking to us at the event, and she is the first person where I heard about the Rose Garden analogy from, and basically what the Women's Council bases its definition of mentorship around. And over the past 4 years, I think that's been the biggest impact on me, is the mentorship and how that's made me into a mentor myself. And I actually wrote partially about that analogy in my personal statement that I want to just share a couple words from. I first heard of this rose metaphor 3 years ago from a woman named Elizabeth Randall on the Ole Miss Women's Council. The Rose Garden metaphor encompasses mentorship in its entirety, and mentorship has progressively become one of my biggest values since that day. Just as watering roses is immensely important for their growth, mentorship has been poured into me. There are several wonderful people I recognize as mentors in my life who have each to their own inspired and guided me through recognizing and pursuing my passions. I have learned this through both mentoring and being in the position of a mentee as well, mostly impacted by people in my life who gave their time to know me in addition to their wisdom and guidance. I am a rose, continuously growing and absorbing so that I can share that same kind of perennial devotion and compassion in my future.